This is my first time experiencing such a frenzy to buy a house. Since we started work today, even before 9 a.m., clients have been coming non-stop. So far, I've handled 16 groups of clients, and I'm about to meet the 17th group. The number of house hunting clients has skyrocketed, now 5 to 6 times more than on usual weekends, with thousands viewing houses daily.
Recently, Guangzhou's real estate market has taken a sharp downturn. Since the end of last year, many developers have been offering year-end clearance sales to recover funds, introducing unprecedented discounts. Some properties are being sold at as little as 30% of their original price. This steep markdown has caused a stir in the housing market, drawing crowds of buyers rushing to sales offices, thinking they finally found the perfect opportunity to buy a home. Social media platforms like Chinese TikTok, Douyin are flooded with videos promoting discounted properties in Guangzhou, showcasing the excitement at sales offices. One video claims a state-owned developer is offering special deals to recover funds. The featured property is at the heart of the CBD, fully furnished and ready for move-in. Another video highlights a development in Huangpu's Yuzhou port, offering 88 units at just 5,500 yuan per square meter, down from the original 200,000 yuan, a discount of over 70%. Yet another advertisement shows a property in Huangpu selling over 50 units, originally priced at 560,000 yuan. These units are now available for just 218,000 yuan, with move-in promised the same day as payment. Many viewers expressed shock, calling it a housing price collapse, and saying they never expected a first-tier city like Guangzhou to see properties sold at such low prices. Some remarked this was like harvesting the very roots of the market. However, others were skeptical. Some suggested that these scenes were staged by developers, while others commented that developers were wise to sell now, as prices may drop even further next year, making these discounts their final attempt to attract buyers. But while new buyers celebrate, exciting homeowners who purchased at high prices are feeling the pain. Overnight, their property values plummeted by as much as 70%, a devastating blow. Many angry homeowners have flocked to sales offices demanding answers. At some home sales offices, a surreal scene unfolded. On one side, furious homeowners smashed property sales offices, while on the other, delighted buyers signed contracts, thrilled with the bargains they found. At a property in Guangzhou's Tianhe district, prices dropped from 55,000 yuan per square meter to just 25,000 yuan per square meter. Angry homeowners gathered at the sales office, confronting sales staff over the drastic price cuts.
Will housing prices go up? When we made our purchase, you told us that prices were going to rise.
No, I didn't. Despite their protests, it seems unlikely that homeowners will get any resolution. Reports suggest that the developer has already filed for bankruptcy, with banks forcing them to sell at lower prices to recover funds. China's real estate market has been in decline for years, with failing home prices and sluggish new home sales. As developers rely heavily on debt for growth, many are now facing severe financial difficulties. Some have already defaulted, while others are on the brink of collapse. The year-end period, when developers need to repay debts and meet financial obligations, has increased pressure to liquidate inventory. The drastic 70% discount shows just how dire the situation is for these developers. This buying frenzy was also triggered by a policy change. On September 29, 2024, Guangzhou's government announced the removal of all housing purchase restrictions for local residents. This marked the end of 14 years of restrictive policies in the Guangzhou real estate market. Following the announcement, developers seized the opportunity to launch aggressive promotional campaigns. These included clearance sales, flash sales on discounted properties, trade-in offers, no penalty cancellations, and referral bonuses for existing buyers. While these promotions briefly revived market activity, reports indicate that most sales were aimed at clearing inventory rather than achieving sustainable growth. Before the policy change, Guangzhou's housing market had been in a prolonged slump. Prices in many areas continued to fall, with potential buyers adopting a wait-and-see attitude. Sales volumes were at a historic low. At the same time, developers faced immense financial pressure, with many struggling to meet their performance targets. Accelerating sales and recovery funds became an urgent priority. According to Xiao Wenxiao, chief analyst of CRIC in the Guangzhou Foshan region, the volume of the first-hand home sales in Guangzhou in the first 8 months of 2024 was at a 10-year low. By the end of August, the total unsold residential floor space exceeded 15 million square meters, with a destocking cycle of nearly 27 months. For second-hand homes, over 150 units were listed for sale, and the average time to sell a home exceeded 180 days. These figures illustrate the bleak state of the market before the policy shift, which likely pushed the government to lift restrictions. However, it seems that removing purchase restrictions alone hasn't been enough to attract buyers. This has led developers to introduce steep discounts. Reports indicate that discounted sales have been underway for some time in Guangzhou, involving not only private developers, but also state-owned companies joining the race to slash prices. In mid-July 2024, the State-Owned Assets Supervision and Administration Commission of Guangzhou's Panyu District lowered the total asking price for 55 properties to 142 million yuan at the Guangzhou Property Exchange website. Back in February, these properties were listed for 220 million yuan, marking a 35% drop in just 6 months. In addition, multiple state-owned platforms in Guangzhou have also listed properties for sale. Within less than a month, state-owned enterprises listed 183 second-hand homes, with an average price drop of 27%. This wave of price cuts is not limited to Guangzhou. State-owned enterprises in cities like Beijing, Fuzhou, Jinan, and Xiamen are also selling properties on a large scale, creating significant downward pressure on housing prices. In Beijing, China Railway Group put 154 homes up for sale at once. In Fuzhou, a state-owned company listed 64 second-hand properties. Jinan Urban Development Group sold 1,312 units, and in Xiamen, a state-owned enterprise listed an impressive 1,472 properties for sale. Beyond offering steep discounts, some developers are turning to creative marketing strategies to attract buyers. According to a report by National Business Daily on January 9, Zhongshan City in Guangdong recently launched a 9.9 yuan home purchase promotion. What is the 9.9 yuan home purchase? A local real estate agent explained that it essentially means buyers pay a down payment of just 9.9 yuan, effectively zero down payment. The participating project is in Zhongshan Gangkou town, with units nearly ready for move-in and expected to be delivered by the end of this year. The promotion is expected to last until the end of 2025. A sales representative for the project confirmed the offer, stating the 9.9 yuan down payment allows the remaining down payment to be spread across monthly installments. The promotion primarily targets homes sized between 89 and 107 square meters, with total prices starting at 690,000 yuan and monthly payments as low as 3,000 yuan. For example, buying an 89 square meter unit would require paying at least 35,000 yuan annually in mortgage payments. Some have commented, with an average salary of 3,000 yuan in Zhongshan, how could anyone afford this without starving? Real estate agents noted that Zhongshan housing market is at a historic low. Prices for new homes have dropped from a peak of over 30,000 yuan per square meter to around 13,000 yuan per square meter. Commenting on the promotion, a prominent Weibo user said, "This is just a debt auction trick. It's like buying a company for 1 yuan only to inherit millions in debt. It's just shifting the burden to someone else." Zhongshan has also introduced other incentives, such as 7,000 yuan and 13,000 yuan housing vouchers to attract buyers. Meanwhile, in West Guangdong, housing prices in smaller counties have also seen significant declines. Following the lead of the first developer to cut prices, others have joined in, resulting in a price war. For example, in a major development in a county in western Guangdong, project with 8 30-story high-rises and a villa area was priced at 7,000 yuan per square meter during its peak in 2019. Despite smaller price fluctuations during the pandemic, prices remained above 5,000 yuan per square meter through mid-2023. However, influenced by the discounting trend in cities like Guangzhou, the developer recently launched a promotion with units priced at just over 3,700 yuan per square meter. As the price cuts continued, other developers in the county followed suit, further reducing prices to 3,200 yuan per square meter. Industry insiders predicted that at this rate, housing prices in the county could drop below 3,000 yuan per square meter in 2025, possibly even reaching 2,000 yuan per square meter. These steep price cuts have had severe consequences. Not only are developers suffering significant financial losses, but homeowners are also facing heavy burdens. With widespread layoffs and pay cuts, many are struggling to repay their mortgages and are desperate to sell their homes. However, given the current market conditions, selling a property now feels like an act of desperation.
我和老公每人每个月15000的工资。My husband and I each earn 15,000 yuan a month, so our combined monthly income is 30,000 yuan. Last year, we decided to get married and buy a house. We borrowed 1 million yuan from relatives, friends, and our parents for the down payment. We bought a house in the city, spent 300,000 yuan on renovations, and around 100,000 yuan on furniture and appliances. But less than 6 months after we got married, I lost my job and all the financial burden fell on my husband. Our monthly mortgage is 15,000 yuan. This year, my husband's company started layoffs and unfortunately he was let go too. Now we've lost the down payment and renovation costs. We had to sell the house, but it only sold for 2 million yuan. We are still heavily in debt to the bank. I really don't know what to do.
我真的后悔买房了。
I truly regret buying a house. The biggest mistake of my life was purchasing this house in 2020. It cost 2.6 million yuan with an 830,000 yuan down payment and a 1.8 million yuan loan. Our monthly mortgage payment was 7,200 yuan. Over 4 years, we've paid nearly 500,000 yuan, but when I checked recently, almost all of it went to interest, with only about 100,000 yuan going toward the principal. What's worse is that houses in the same complex are now listed at 1.5 million yuan, and nobody's even looking at them. Selling it wouldn't cover what I owe the bank, and I'd still have to pay the additional 200,000 to 300,000 yuan out of pocket. In total, I've lost 1.6 million yuan in 4 years. Many people never see a million yuan in their lifetime, and here I am, losing over a million. Isn't that absurd? From elementary school to graduate school, from the countryside to the city, I thought buying this house meant stepping into a better life. Instead, it's like I've fallen into an abyss. A mortgage is the biggest leverage an ordinary person can use, and I believed the experts who said buying a house over 30 years could outpace inflation. But by the time the mortgage is paid off, I'll be in my 60s, probably with a white beard. Right now, our biggest expense is the mortgage. With property fees, car insurance, parking fees, electricity, and water bills, we're spending over 10,000 yuan a month without even eating or drinking. In the end, I've realized we've been duped. Houses and cars don't truly belong to us. They just keep draining money for upkeep and usage. All we do is work hard to earn and repay, earn and repay. A lifetime of labor for the system, like oxen and horses. Considering how bad the economy is right now, I feel like I'm on the verge of collapse. I don't know how much longer I can hold on. This is the reality for many homeowners in China today. Statistics show that over the past 20 years, China has sold 225 million housing units, with 184 million sold after 2009. Of these, approximately 117 million were sold between 2015 and 2021, and 71 million were sold during the peak years of 2018 and 2021. In other words, about half of China's residential real estate was purchased during the 6 years of soaring property prices, and 1/3 of it was bought at the market's peak. It's estimated that 75% of Chinese household assets are tied to real estate. If housing prices drop by 40%, half of the population would find themselves with negative equity. With reports of property prices falling by as much as 70%, it's hard to say how many people are already in this situation. The hardest hit are those who bought homes after 2018. For the next 30 years, they will spend a significant portion of their income repaying loans that far exceed the value of their homes. 30 years represents the bulk of a Chinese person's working life. For these homeowners, the best years of their lives will be spent under the burden of heavy debt, leaving little room for spending or happiness. Being a homeowner is already challenging, but the situation worsens when they can no longer afford to pay their mortgages. Many couples face unemployment and are forced to default on their loans. When they try to sell their homes, they find no buyers. Their properties eventually go to foreclosure auctions, leaving them with debt and a tarnished credit record. It's a dead-end situation.
A multi-million yuan property in Chengdu, now with no income, has left us 3.8 million yuan in debt. We are on the credit blacklists for defaults. Every single credit card and small loan is overdue. Something happened today that really broke me. It's my son's 3rd birthday and I wanted to buy him the cheapest birthday cake. I searched online everywhere and found one for 44 yuan, but my bank card only has a little over 20 yuan left. In that moment, I felt an overwhelming sense of grievance. Why is life so hard? I'm 37 years old and I can't even afford a 44 yuan cake for my son. I feel like such a failure.
回不去了。
There's no going back. Look at this. What is it? My house has been seized. I have nowhere to go. I've been behind on my mortgage payments for over a year. Not only have I lost the down payment and all the mortgage payments I've made over the years, but I also owe the bank over 200,000 yuan. In 2019, I bought this house for 1.35 million yuan with a 420,000 yuan down payment and a 930,000 yuan loan. The loan term was 30 years and the monthly payment was about 5,300 yuan. 2 years ago, my business failed and I had to stop making payments. After more than 3 years of payments, the remaining loan balance is still over 900,000 yuan. I've paid back 180,000 yuan, but only 20,000 yuan went to the principal. The rest, nearly 160,000 yuan, was all interest. The bank has been calling me non-stop, and it's driving me into a state of anxiety. 6 months after I stopped payments, the bank sued me, and the house was seized. Now, as you can see, the court has issued a judgment, and my bank account has been frozen. Even the few hundred yuan in my WeChat wallet is inaccessible. On top of that, I owe tens of thousands in legal fees. The court called a few days ago to say the house will soon be auctioned. It's being appraised for 1 million yuan, but the starting bid is only 70% of that. Just 70,000 yuan. If it's sold at an auction, I'll lose the house, the down payment, and I'll still owe the bank over 200,000 yuan. Adding it all up, the down payment of 420,000 yuan and the 180,000 yuan in mortgage payments and the money I'll still owe, I've lost more than 800,000 yuan. I feel helpless and heartbroken. I didn't do anything wrong. I just bought a house. That's all. According to a report released by China Index Academy, an independent real estate research firm based in Beijing, the number of foreclosed homes in China increased again in 2024. Data shows that 786,000 foreclosed properties were listed for auction in 2024, with 176 successfully sold. The total transaction value reached 331 billion yuan, a 6.7% decrease compared to 2023. The report also noted a sharp rise in auction activity. In 2023, there were 1.11 million auction attempts. In 2024, this figure rose by 25% to 1.4 million. Successful auction attempts also increased slightly from 171,000 in 2023 to 179,000 in 2024. A separate report from the firm last year highlighted that the number of foreclosed homes has been steadily rising since 2020, a trend that continued through 2024. This increase indicates that many homeowners can no longer afford their mortgages, pushing their properties into the auction market. It's a stark reflection of the ongoing downturn in the real estate sector and the broader economic slowdown. In China, household wealth is deeply tied to real estate. Unlike in Western countries, where various high-yield investment options are available and overseas investments are common, Chinese households rely heavily on property as their primary asset. Real estate accounts for 78% of total assets in China, compared to just 35% in the United States. As a result, falling property prices have significantly eroded Chinese household wealth. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal on January 1st, Barclays estimates that the real estate market crash since 2021 has wiped out approximately 18 trillion US dollars in household wealth in China. This translates to an average loss of 60,000 US dollars per household, surpassing the $11 trillion loss from the US subprime mortgage crisis in 2008. The wealth of China's middle class is largely derived from real estate. With housing prices plummeting, many middle-class families are losing their financial footing. China's economy has relied heavily on the middle class, which includes around 200 million people with genuine purchasing power. Many of these individuals accumulated wealth through property investments or owning multiple homes. Their perceived wealth encouraged spending. However, with property prices falling, confidence has evaporated and spending has sharply declined. This could pose serious problems for China's future economic growth. What's even more concerning is that there's no clear end to the decline in housing prices, unless the Chinese government begins large-scale money printing, leading to hyperinflation and a tenfold or even hundredfold increase in property prices. These homeowners may never escape their financial predicament. However, if the government opts for uncontrolled money printing, it could trigger another vicious cycle, pushing the economy closer to collapse.